don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the privilege of taking a look at the Haslab Unicron, the War for Cybertron Unicron. So I've seen all sorts of people do reviews on this, and the very fact that they got it well before everybody else did is a conversation for another day. I'm quite distraught about that, but we'll deal with that in another thing. But I thought I hadn't seen anybody do an unboxing video. So we're going to do that. I've already cut the tape, but that's as far as I have gone with this, really. Right off the bat, we get instruction sheet, I guess is what this is. Yep, I suppose so. Detailing various different things and such. We'll set that aside. Piece of paper. Cardboard, and we're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of this. So before I do anything else, let's give you all an actual view of what's in here. Looks just like that. Okay, now back to this. Pull out our trusty handy dandy cutter. Alright, this gives us access to these, and apparently the stand. Alright, moving on down, we get, oh goodness, oh. Oh boy, oh boy. So we get this big old piece of styrofoam here, and it's quite heavy, quite hefty, and it comes with, I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a clear piece in here. Just a clear piece of plastic. And we'll set that aside. And go hands-free again for just a moment so you all can see what's in here. Alright. So, one by one, we get this thing right here, which is part D, which apparently is filled full of bits and bobs and interesting little stuff. Okay, set that aside. We get another stand piece, apparently. Okay. We get these things right here. Okay. We get the head here. And lastly, we get old Unicron himself. And he is a hefty boy. Hefty boy. Alright, and as you can see, he comes packaged in planet mode. I'm going to set him aside for the moment. And last time hands-free, this is what we get in the bottom. And if I'll pull this out here in a little bit, and if there's anything in it, underneath it, I'll let you know. But for right now, that's where we stand, and that was Hasbro's Unicron unboxed. Alright, so we're not going to transform him, but we are going to go ahead and take a look at how everything gets put together. So we're going to start with the stand, and it has three pieces. It has this big piece, it's got this little piece right here, and then it's got this big long piece right here. And basically all you do is put that in like that, right there, and then we drop this into place. And this only goes in one way, so you can't put it in like that, it won't fit, but it just slips in just like that, and that is his stand completed. We'll move along to the next thing. So before you put your Unicron on the stand, you have to get this bottom section here to look like this. And nowhere in the directions does it tell you how to do this, at least I haven't found it. Now on page 5, I'll show a picture of it here. It tells you, it just shows you setting it on the stand, but it doesn't tell you how. It's not until you get to page, I think it's 31, I'll show it here, that you actually are able to find out what you need to do to get it into this configuration. So before you try to put it on the stand, if you do, let me show you how, and I'll do my level best to do that now. Alright, so to get this thing in a position where you need to put in the stand, you have to basically get this piece and this piece out of the way. Now I'll also tell you that without the directions helping me, I thought that this piece would move up and out of the way. It does not. And as a result of the directions not being very clear, I don't know if you all can see it or not, but I have now developed a sizable stress mark right here on this joint. And this should have probably been made out of die cast where this meets. If they had given us direction, I probably would not now have this quite large stress mark, which I don't know if you all can see or not. Regardless, I'm going to try and do this on camera. This thing is rather unwieldy, and remember, this is just to get it onto the stand so we can do all the other stuff to it. We have to basically take this section here off on both sides, and it is clipped into place right here with a little like tab clip thing, which is not the easiest to get out. Right here it is, right here, and it goes into this slot right here, so be mindful of that. And there's another section similar to that back here that you have to undo, and then this just kind of theoretically comes loose like this, and it's on a, you can't see, it's on a section of a bar here which allows it to move around. And you got to do that on both sides, so we know it's attached here, so undo this panel first, undo this panel first, come back here and do this one by the mouth next, and it'll just pop up, and then you just got to kind of wiggle this until it separates. Now you take this section, and right here are two locking tabs. You have to basically, if you can see it right here, see how that separates right there? You have to pull this up effectively and get it out of the way on both sides. So you got to kind of bend it to you to pull it up. Now, this section right here, you just pull down and it'll just flap out. This section right here that I thought would go in like this, you have to actually bend it, you have to stretch the plastic, which is not helping this stress mark at all, to get it around this little lip right here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, that little lip. Then it'll just come down like that. Then it's just a matter of putting it back together, and this section here is going to come loose on you. You just have to expect that during the process of putting it back together. It's going to come loose. But this is how it's got to go. Just bend the plastic around it, and then it's a matter of putting this back together, which is not the easiest, but if you kind of reverse the order in which you took it apart, it seems to be, at least to me, the best way I have discovered getting it back together. And it is not the easiest thing I have ever done, let me tell you. It is doable, but it is not happy about the prospect of going back together. There. That side I think is in. Let's do this other side here. Again, starting back here at this back end near the mouth. Just maneuver it until it's about where you need it to be, and fight with it until you actually get it into position, and then you can hopefully fight with it until it goes in where it's supposed to. Here. And remember what I always say, folks, if you see me fighting with it, there's a good chance you're going to have to as well. There. That's about the best I'm going to be able to do with it. And then you take your stand, and it goes in like this. No, I'm sorry, it goes in like this. Put it in, and if it's done correctly, it'll go like that. And then it's just a matter of making sure that everything's lined back up, and then just praying a little bit and flipping it over. So the next thing the directions show is pulling out, you know, the jaw things, and we have to take off this panel on both sides. I'm probably just going to take off one to show you. It's I don't have it in right. I've already tried this once, so I wanted to make sure I could do it on camera. All you do is you pull, and I wasn't able to get it back together properly. You just take this, rotate it around, and then pull it forward, and that gives you your jaw thing. And then it's a matter of getting all this put back together, which there's a reason why I'm only showing you one. There's a clip right here that goes in that does this back section here, and then this comes together like this. Then it comes around, and you should be able to see the clips and things here. Sorry for the cut in my phone ring. So this has a clip right here. It's going to go into this section right here, and it's just a matter of getting everything back aligned together. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it is doable. Then you bring it around like this and get everything back into its proper order. I say it again, if you see me struggling with it, there's a good chance you will too. And that's one of them out like that. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity and pull out the other one. And here it is with these out. And they can move up and down a little bit and in and out. These things here apparently don't move at all, so it's just, you know, whatever you do with it, like that, I guess. So the next thing the directions have us doing is we take one of these pieces here, and we have to have the piece with the connector bit here, not this one that's got this bit. It has to have this bit. And basically what we're going to do inside of here are little clips, and we just have to hook these to it. So once again, we have to unhook all this stuff that we've done so that we can gain access to this section here. Alright. So I'm going to zoom in here, and right here you can see where this will plug in at, and it just comes in according to the directions, and it just pops into place here, at least theoretically. I don't remember watching anybody fight with this like this. I think I've got it. I think I do. Alright, so while we're here, what does it show for the other one? We've got this one right here, which I imagine is going to go over this. I'll have to slip it under here, which you can't see. So I'm looking at this other one here, and there's only one of two ways it can go. It'll either, you know, be this one where it's on the bottom, where the screw's on the bottom, or this one where the screw's on the top. Now, looking at the directions here, it doesn't really show me. I think it's on the bottom. I think that right there shows the bottom one. So if that's the case, we'll put this one on, and it just goes in underneath here. It should just go right on like this, right here. I think that's correct. And then you take one of these stops that came in pack D, and there's a notch right there, and the notch is on the bottom of this. So you just line that up. It should just be a matter of pushing it into place, theoretically. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now, alright, that's as far as that's going to go. And I imagine we're going to replicate this on the other side to get these little bits in place here. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it or not, but there's a notch right there that'll fit around a little peg right here. So theoretically that should stay in there like that. And this piece right here has a notch that's going to go into a hole right here to help keep all this together and lined up just like that right there, nice and pretty. Alright, so now we're going to assemble the planetary rings. And it's not difficult, but it is a little bit involved. First thing you do is you take this piece right here, and here is going to be your connector piece. And you take this piece right here, and you just marry the two of them together. If you notice, there is a clip right here that will go into this port, and they just theoretically go right together just like that. And that gives you a joint here for you to use. Alright, next take this bit on the end, kind of fold it up, So this gives you access to this hole right here. We're going to connect this piece right here, which is a mushroom peg. Is it a mushroom peg? It comes in like this, comes down. You'll need to remember this sequence if you ever decide to put this back in the box. And then you just bring this in right here, connect that up like that. So you should have something that looks like this. Next, bring in this piece, and it is going to connect just like this right here. Just like that. And the last piece is this right here. And it goes in kind of opposite of the way that you would expect it to. It's got notches on it. I don't know how well you can see those, but this is rimmed right here. You might be able to see that. And this goes in, and it's not the easiest thing to do, but once it's in, it's in. And it connects on that rim right there, and it allows this to move a little bit. So I'm going to mirror that on the other side, and then installing the wings was very problematic for me, primarily because right up here there is a notch and a groove, and it doesn't look like what you're supposed to put in there according to the directions works, but it does. You just have to be patient. So here is the side that we're working on first, and if you notice right here there is a notch, and it is put in there in a particular way. Now it will correspond with the notch and the rectangle hole right here. So the first thing you do is you line it up and you get it in, hopefully correctly. Just like that. Then you come down underneath, and I'll show putting that in here in a minute. Then you take your other side and do the very same thing with it, only you make sure that this is the part I was telling you about that I was concerned about. It doesn't look like it wants to go in here, but it will. It's just not happy about it. Line this side up here. Alright, put that in. Now, let me bring it over here a little bit closer to where you all can see. There is a hole right here that this peg right here is going to go into, and it just lines up, just goes in. And I'll go ahead and I'll do the bottom real quick so you all can see that. Alright, so right here on the bottom is the place that this piece is going to go into. And what you got to do is you got to get it in here, just put it up there like that, and it'll rest where it's supposed to. Now, forgive me while I adjust my camera, so hopefully you all can see what I'm doing. Alright, next we take this piece here, and we just have to connect them together as best as you can. Just like that. And that makes the planetary ring. Truth be known, it is quite an imposing figure. Even my wife was drawn to it when she saw it, so that's got to count for something. So there are some additional things that come with this. We do get the ship here, which is, I guess it's okay. It measures in at approximately 2 inches by an 1 3/4. Don't worry about the height. It's small, and it's nice. It's got some nice details on it. A little bit of silver paint. You know what it doesn't have? A bunch of hollow bits, like Hasbro normally does. So I have to give them kudos for that. I have to give them kudos for that. And then we get these little figures, which are teeny tiny. And they measure in at right about a ½ an inch. And I'll show a couple pictures of them with the CityBot Citizen set, the one with the trench covers. And I'll show these off with them just to give you a sense of scale. If any of you have those, then you know it'll give you a good idea about what we're looking at here. Another thing it comes with is this set of, I guess they're fillers, and they're detailed, and they've got, you know, molded detail and various different things. And I'm not sure exactly where they go just yet, but I'll get to it. And we've got the chin right here with the piece in it. The other one has the cleft. So yeah, they just clip in with those little bits and bobs right there. Then we get the alternative face where it's all mangled and whatnot. And this is clear plastic, so they've painted this. So all the color you see here is painted, except for, excuse me, what's in the eyes here. And the last thing, well, I guess it's not the last thing. We get the head itself. Let me back out just a tinch. A little bit more. And you can see the horns and all that. Now the head is measuring in to the tip of the horns at about 5.5 inches. Tip to tip here is about 4. The width of it totaled is about 5, almost 5.5. The depth of it, we're looking at about 2.5 inches. Now, to replace the face, you just have to get in here, and normally I'd use my spudger, but I think it's in the other room. But you saw how easily it came off, so we don't have to worry about that quite so much. We've got, let me zoom in here so you can see the details. The eyes do move. There's a little switch right here, back and forth. Makes the eyes go, ooh, look at me, look at me, look at me, ah! I don't think they come out. I saw somebody had already done an upgrade kit for an LED for these, so there's that. The jaw comes down, and to replace the jaw, you just pull it out like that. Find the other one wherever you put it, and you just slip it right on. Now the teeth here are actually spring-loaded, of all things. I don't know why, but yeah, he's got a little tongue right there, and yeah, okay, I guess that's a thing. So we'll put this chin on him, you can see what that's like, and then we'll put this right here on him. Again, they just slide on. That's what he looks like with his damage. And finally, the last thing we have is this display stand. And you put it together. I mean, it's just, it comes into 3 pieces, just like this. You just plug this in right here. Take this piece and you can put it here. Then what you do is you take your Unicron head, and if you notice there's these connections right here. Well, they correspond right here, theoretically. Get in there, just like that. And Unicron can move up, you know, like that, down. Now you take your ship, you put it right here on this little peg, and it stays right there, like that. Now there's supposed to be some way to take these little fellers here and put them in here, kindly like this, and that's how they're supposed to sit. And that's what you get with the thing here, with the stand. Now these bits that you don't use can actually fit underneath the big black display stand. So there's always that. Final thoughts wise, Haslab Unicron is really a mixed bag for me. On one hand, I'm very impressed with the molded detail. The size has quite impressed even my wife. In fact, the thing she first asked me was, where do you propose to put it? And my response was, well, I don't really know off the top of my head. I'll find a place. And she said, okay. So, yeah. The playability for it, I really don't want to mess with it. It's a little bit too big. And the panels for the planet mode, they have a hard time staying connected. Or let me rephrase that. They have a hard time getting connected. Once they're connected, they're fairly solid. It's just getting it into that point that's the hard part. It's a little unwieldy to transform, and I mean, it'll stand without the stand, but you can't obviously do planet mode without the stand, and the stand was an issue. So the materials feel slightly better, I would say, than your normal Hasbro plastics, but only slightly. And it's got a lot of neat little issues and gimmicks, like the mouth has the teeth that are on a spring. It's not a spring, it's not a spring. There were some problems. I do have some stress marks on mine. The materials are okay. They should have used some die cast in certain areas where they didn't, and look, it's heavy enough as it is, but with a little bit of die cast in some of those joints would have made it much better, much better. The cost, excuse me, my overall cost for this I think was $648. That was payment and shipping. This is not worth $600. I'm sorry. I know there's going to be people out there saying, well, I'm going to pay $1,500 for it on eBay. You know what? That's fine. That's your money. For me, this would probably be about a $400 figure totaled. And I'm being generous with that $400. It's mostly due to the fact that it is so large, it has such a presence. The stuff that comes with it, while appropriate, aren't really necessary for the most part. I mean, the faceplate's fine, the extra chin's fine. The two little figures, they just kind of get in the way. I'm afraid I'm going to lose those. And the ship's nice. This little ship right here, it's nice, but I don't need it either. And I wonder how much that cost me. If this was my first Transformer, I have to say I would probably be very impressed just with the overall look of it. I wouldn't much care for the transformation, but I would like... I have mine in robot mode. I know a lot of people are keeping theirs in planet mode. I have mine in robot mode, and that's the way it's going to stay. And I do have a place for it. So, yeah, I'd probably buy another one. But not at this cost. Not at this cost. So, what do we do here? I'm really frustrated with Hasbro because of the way that they've done this and their distribution, and that's my issue, not necessarily anybody else's. But I'm very frustrated with it, and I don't think that I'll ever buy anything from Haslab again. I've got a couple of things ordered from them. I've got the Sentinel, and I've got the board game, the Hero Quest. I passed on the Razor Crest, and I'm probably glad for that. But this thing, look folks, if we can't trust that they will have the product's best interest at heart, and the people that buy that product at heart, then we really need to rethink Hasbro and our interactions with them, with our dollar signs. This is Tom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next review.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Excuse me, do you have any vitamin, John?
Yes. That's what we sell here.
How much is it?
First one's free.
Can I just grab one?
Sure.
Num 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 num.
Wow, that's good stuff.
Another satisfied customer of Vitamin John.
Who are you talking to?
Operators are standing by.
Seriously, who are you talking to?
Call now! So, like, I'm getting extra money because Tom wrote a book, and he wants you all to buy it. And I get, contract money for this. So, the name of the book is The Djinn Chronicles, Volume 1, Growth. It's part 1 of a trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Go read it. It's like only $5. Go read it. Buy it. And junk. I'm out of here.